from where in the world is Weldon Studios? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of the Log Jam.
Welcome to week 11 Log Jam.
Week 11.
Week 10 in the books.
In the books.
What have we learned?
We've learned a couple things, I think. We've learned that the fantasy gods are not just. We've learned to set your lineups, hopefully, by now. We've also learned some other things this week, I think, which is even you can't count on even your studs sometimes. I mean, it's just a crazy game.
It is. There's a lot of inconsistency. I don't think there's a ton of guys out there that are every week they're going to put up points because they're just ups and downs. There's just no players like that outside of maybe Christian McCaffrey.
Well, and you would think, like I was going to say, you would think like Ezekiel Elliott, no offense, but you would think, I'm not being that guy, but you would think like Ezekiel Elliott's that guy. You would think Dalvin Cook's that guy. You would think Alvin Kamara's that guy. 2 and 3 are, I think, Dalvin Cook's still the guy, but Alvin Kamara hasn't been, Ezekiel Elliott.
Fantasy football happens, gentlemen.
I think if you learn that the fantasy football gods are unjust this week, I don't know what you've been doing for the last 11 and a half years.
Right.
It's just unfair. Take a look at the sin. 7th, not in the playoffs.
Great point.
2nd in points, 1,411 points this season, and outside the playoffs looking in.
2nd in overall points, and once again, you remember last year we got him for Christmas?
What did we get for Christmas last year?
It was the window frame, because he was on the outside looking in.
Here he is.
It's unbelievable. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
The recidivism rate is just very large, ladies and gentlemen.
It really is. It's a stacked up league right now. Benter, with another kind of random Patriots pick. Maybe a little bit of controversy draft time retaining Pat Mahomes, if you remember correctly.
Who do we blame for that, Tom?
Well, if you remember correctly, Pat Mahomes.
Here's the funny thing about this, and I think we should bring this to the podcast. So sit back and get your popcorn ready.
Yes.
Because, first of all, the Benner curse is a real thing. I think we've all seen that. If any of you have played it, I think we've all at this point played it. So it seems like your team just doesn't show up or something. Okay, so there is a real thing there. Why is it there? What happened? Let's trace it back. Well, first of all, the person who's barking the loudest about this is the Cardinal Sin. All right, the Cardinal Sin is on the thread and everywhere. The Benner this is ridiculous. Well, you got him this week, Sin, so shut him up. It's your turn to shut him up. Score over 99. But how is this happening? Well, let's trace it back, because what I see
on draft day
is
the
that
Fury did not have an 11th round pick,
right,
which is where Pat Mahomes is slotted in the draft.
Correct.
Pat Mahomes could have been a draftable player in this year's draft,
Absolutely.
if not 4.
And all these wins that Benner continues to stack up against what certain people are saying are subpar performances, Benner's still 4th in points. So Benner's 4th in points. So 8-2 record, maybe not. Maybe he's caught some luck, but who gave him the luck? Well, I didn't trade, Pat Mahomes has been 40, 50 points a game. That's if you want to trace it to a player and why this has happened for him, it comes down to Pat Mahomes. Who gave him the permission to keep Mahomes in the 11th round?
That was Corey.
It was Corey.
How do you spell Corey? With a Q or a K?
We never have landed on a K. I think it's Khowree.
H-U-S-I-A.
Well, it depends if it's his Christian name or his Hebrew name.
Cardinal Sin.
I don't know.
Aside from the name, though, he did pay a price. There's a couple of draft picks. I mean, it wasn't like he was given away for free. And I guess in a non-trade scenario, maybe then you're looking at collusion of the other teams. All saying they're not going to do it. I guess that's what market value is.
If there's collusion, it was over a 100-yard beer.
Probably.
On said paid for on said
18-year-old.
Yeah, because there was only 2 people in the room that day.
Question: who paid the biggest price for this fantasy season?
Corey.
Yes.
2 times. We'll get back to that later. A lot of other things. This last week, the carrot. We get to OBJ,
yes.
165. It's another good number, about as consistent. This was OBJ's of weeks like 2 through 5, maybe coming back a little bit and showing a consistent number.
And I'd like to say this also for the podcast, and I was the one who had 159 points and probably would have taken the carrot if it worked for overtime on Monday night. However, OBJ, I gotta say, it's been a couple years now that you've been in the league. The first little while it takes to build a franchise, and we understand there were some name changes, there were some things going on. But damn, dude, he's come into his own. This is like a maturation process of
This is not an accident for sure. This is something that he put seeds in the ground 3 years ago. Derek Henry, he built it with these plotting, trying to grab it. I think maybe a la the Avalon Avengers of old, possibly trying to get his.
I would just like to take 10 seconds to congratulate him because it's coming to fruition at this point. The flowers are blooming, so congratulations.
Yeah, it looks good. It definitely looks good in that scenario. There are good teams. I think the Sin have a chance. Nobody is out of the playoffs right now. Even at 3-7, young and fused, that it is almost likely that a number of 6-win teams get in, and it's possible there's an outside chance that a team could get in with 5 wins based on some unlikely scenarios. It's 3 weeks. We're not at a point where we can say definitively if this win and that loss get someone in the playoffs, with the exception of Rachel. Really,
there's one guy in. Everyone else is like
knocking on the door. The 2 6-4 teams, myself and OBJ, could go 6-7 and not be in.
Yeah, right. We say you gotta win.
Yeah, it was so not proper for a kid who's from
you gotta get 7 wins.
Right.
Fair enough. And it's been a criticism of past pods. We don't get everything perfect, but we have a lot of fun doing it. Playoff scenarios, we took a look at some strength of schedule things, if you remember correctly. And of the teams, the 2 toughest schedules coming in of playoff contending teams, the Sin and the Hammers. Woo! Both facing 1-2-3 and 1-3-4 coming in. So look for those 2 teams that kind of have to control their own destiny. They kind of have to get some wins and not worry about what else is going on because they have tough roads to hoe.
And they're Hammers is in the playoffs currently, and then knocking on the door, like you said, would be the Sin. So that they have the toughest road to hoe, and they're right on the edge. So this is crazy, man. This year has honestly, if you look at it, been one of the tightest years. To down to week 11 or 12, we don't have the 2 or 3 teams we can say are in, 2 or 3 teams are out. It's 1 in and possibly 1 out, but the really logjam, man. Good luck over the next 3 weeks, boys.
This week we will see the first people going to the cemetery. Maybe 2 or 3 possibly.
Potentially, could be upwards of. There could be 3 teams technically go out. No, they still can go out. They would still be 1 or 2 teams could go out. I think Young can go out.
Young will be out.
But one of the 5-5 teams is going to lose, so you're still going to be, no matter what happens, you're still going to be within a game of the playoffs or right in there. So there's lots of action still left. Other things that happened in week 10, the Hammers beat the Poway Titans. Pinson Avengers, a log jam match. You took that and you put up a number.
That just makes us even over here. You beat me week 2. So we're just
division rival. Fury takes care of Daddy. Kind of that first scenario where again a team doesn't get 100 points against their. Come in. Good. What?
We got a delivery.
Oh, donuts.
Oh, nice.
Donuts of the week.
Donuts. This is. Hey, these were sent by Who's Your Daddy? They were compliments of
Cooper Cup and David Johnson both put up donuts.
Is that why you put 2 fingers in the donut hole?
Must have had extras at the facility.
Hey.
Yeah, we'll go
Thanks,
try.
Daddy. That is, we were talking about that as a league rule. We told the if a player scores 0 points in a matchup, it's a daddy's team rule that they have to bring donuts to the facility to feed everyone. They've never had a scenario where they put up 2 donuts in the same week, so they have some surplus. They sent some donuts. Thank you guys very much, Daddy. Sorry about your loss to the Fury. And that last game, the Zorro's taking and handling the Sin.
Well,
so.
Danny actually got the stick from that loss as well. I mean, I know we said OBJ got the carrot, so congratulations for the money, but,
But speaking of a league rule, it might be kind of fun if at each league meeting, whoever had the most zeros put up on their team, either from not starting a player or a 0, did bring
Who
donuts.
wouldn't start a player? I'm an asshole.
I don't know.
Somebody that doesn't care about the league.
Clearly.
Well, we think, I guess, what else you guys got? I mean, we got.
Want to do some picks? Or?
Yeah, let's do
Next
picks.
week, who we got?
Who do we have? I'm eating donuts. What are your picks if we're doing donuts?
Let's go from top to bottom, because that's how we do it here. So, next week, the Avalon Avengers at 6-4 take on the Zorros.
Well, you know what?
5-5. This is a heavyweight game.
We're going to put one in the Zorros column because, frankly, don't pick myself in this spot.
Billy.
I'm taking the Avengers. Playoff bound, 7 wins. It's over.
Well, I will also take the Avengers in this matchup. So that will be 2 for Tom and 1 for the Zoros. And in another matchup, we have the Sin, the Cardinal Sin, who are 4
This
and 6
is the game of the year.
They're playing the Fury. The Fury 8 and 2. This is the smack talk has come to a head, and this is where Christian McCaffrey and the boys need to come and take care of business.
If the Sin wants in, he must win this week. We all know that. And
They keep Billy Cochran.
Well, I'll start this one. I'm going to take Cardinal Sin here.
Cardinal Sin coming in at 4 and 6, traveling to the 8 and 2 Fury, but comes in on a week-to-week basis, losing beating them in points.
Yep.
I'm on the Sin on this one as well.
I'm taking the Sin.
Billy Mack at the Sin at the Fury.
I already said I'm taking the Sin. He must win. He wants in.
That's a sweet.
Trifecta.
OBJ, you gynecologist, Dr. Odell Beckham, you're coming to the Pimpsville. And you know what?
Probably gonna have a lot of work during checkups. Rumor of Vince headquarters not being, sanitary.
It's a lot of blue waffles.
There's napkins there, so it is somewhat sensitive. Let's take the Pimps. I'll take the Pimps.
I'll take the OBGYNs to end the Pimp season. Fucking hopefully.
It will.
He's looking for one team to play off. I just don't know how you pick against the guy with the most points with a stable of running backs like that. I got to get on OBJ here.
Perfect. It's not a sweep.
It is not a sweep. Coming up next, the Hammers at 5 and 5, traveling to the Daddy at 1 and 5. One team will have 6 wins and ostensibly have a toehold in the playoffs.
Yep.
The other team will probably be on the outside
Fighting
looking
for their
in.
lives.
Fighting for their lives. For the
Or
last
selling the franchise at the trade.
Or selling their franchise. We'll have one more week after that. Wait a minute, was the meeting last week?
I was there, weren't you there?
Was it fine?
Me and Jen were hanging
There
out.
was 3 people that were fined. It was Ari, Corey, and Benner.
Perfect.
And the 18-year-old did take her shirt off this time.
Because Joel asked nicely, Benner.
Consensual.
It was
checkbox.
sensual with
Cons.
There was pros and cons. So we got Daddy Hammers. Who you got, Billy?
I'm gonna go with Daddy to take the Hammers down.
Well, I would go ahead. You pick this one. I'm still thinking.
Well, I mean, it feels to me like Daddy's the better team right here. Everything points to that.
But I want
It's just such a weird season for the Hammers, who came in at one point. We're gonna have a fire sale, won a couple games, didn't have a fire sale, and then got absolutely obliterated. Sort of the lowest points almost in franchise history. It feels like they're gonna win this game. I'm gonna go with the Hammers.
Okay. Let's point out that the Saquon Barkley just shit the bed this week. So I'm going to take a bounce back game. I'm going to take Daddy here to beat the Hammers and solidify his move in the playoffs.
The last matchup Billy was alluding to earlier, it is likely one team ends up out of the playoffs if I mean, it's not.
Or we could tie and both be out of the fucking
That's
playoffs.
absolutely.
But at this point, it's the Titans' last home game of the season. We're on the road the rest of the way. I'm going to take the Titans and get to 5 and 6, put some pressure on the back door of me getting in and somebody saying, like a dolphin, and I'm getting in there.
Reminds him a lot of college.
Yes.
Pressure on the back door. Someone said he ain't getting in. I too think the Poway Titans are going to win this home game.
I will also take Poway. That's a sweet.
That's sweet.
All
If
right,
you're confused, prove us wrong, man. Come to play. Put them out there, dude. Let's go.
All right. There
Maybe you
are
guys should sign Kaepernick. Just saying. Could use some help.
When's he going to be available on the site? Is he there now? Somebody
He's
to
there.
get a waiver claim in for
Gronk's
him?
still available.
Maybe some
Very
waiver
soon.
pickups tonight. You never know.
Barry Sanders.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Log Jam. Do we have more? I don't want to cut us off if we're.
I think we're okay.
We pretty much nailed it, guys. So thank you guys for tuning in.
Next week we'll have some.
Buckle your seatbelts.
Yeah,
There's
holy
a lot of shit. So.
And good luck Thursday night. Don't start anyone that starts Thursday. I ignore you. Sorry, bro.
We don't have to record over. We will record, but we gotta watch the